Didn't need a zipper to pee because my intrepid dresser, Scotty, and I got so good at getting in and out of the suit that we could do it in about 4.5 minutes. Hi, I'm David Cornsweet, here with GQ to talk about how I prepared to play the role of Superman.
Hopefully it works fine.
So when did Superman first present himself in my life? I really don't remember. I assume that my first introduction was Smallville, Tom Welling in the television show. While we weren't allowed to watch television growing up, I had like a couple hours after I got home from school before my parents would get home where I could sneak whatever was on. I think Superman is one of those characters, ideas, symbols that pervades the culture, and therefore you don't necessarily need a first exposure. I'm not sure I really did want to play Superman. I never thought it was an achievable goal. I mean, even when I was auditioning for James's movie, I didn't really think that it was possible that I was going to be the person to get it. I was at home on a ladder, like changing a light fixture, and I took the call, and they were like, "Well, David, we think you know what this call is about." And I was like, "I really don't know what this is about. I'm on a ladder. Please talk faster." And my agent said, "It's an audition. You know what's coming." I was like, "Top Gun 3? What am I like definitely waiting for?" He said, "No, it's Superman. You're not special. There are a lot of people auditioning. Everybody's going to self-tape. There are going to be nobody's meeting with James ahead of time. Everybody's going to put themselves on tape. And good luck. Don't fuck it up." Luckily, I live with and had just very sensibly gotten married to my self-tape partner, my wife, who's also an actress. So we did about an hour, did the scene a few times, then came back after a couple of days and did it again. And I think I did that 3 times, just in the hopes that on one of those days I would find something that was worthwhile. I think in the end I used one of the takes from the very first session.
You'd let me interview you as Superman.
Sure. For the audition purpose, it was rewritten. It was sort of fabricated a little bit, so it didn't give anything away. But it was between Superman or Clark and Miss Lane. And it was an interview of a kind. And then I spent one of these days leading up to the deadline watching the Superman movies.
Who are you?
We watched the first Christopher Reeve movie, we watched Superman Returns, and we watched Man of Steel, just to sort of get a sense of the cinematic canvas that had existed over the decades, which was really wonderful. And I had some strong thoughts that I told to my wife. I got very passionate, as I often do watching movies. I love movies, and I love critiquing them, and I love celebrating and sort of breaking down where they succeed and why they succeed. And I think she was the one who said, "You should probably get these ideas to him in some form or another. He should know what you're thinking." I wrote a letter. I sat right down and I wrote myself a letter, addressed it to whom it may concern, you know, leaving open the possibility that no one would care, and so it would concern no one. And I just laid out some of the thoughts that I had and the passion that I had for the possibilities of this character and the great drama available to a character like Superman. And I sent that along with my audition tape to whomever it concerned. And then I forgot about it. I got cast in Twisters after that, so I went to Oklahoma, and it was just before my first day of filming that I got the call that I was going to screen test for Superman, one of the most iconic characters in print media. I found out that Nick Holt was going to screen test, and I was like, well, I'd give it to Nick, who I had sort of tracked all through his career, and every time I saw him, I thought, I want to be like him, and also I'll never be like him. Like, I could never be as facile and specific and charming an actor as he. But in some ways, that's good news, because then you go, well, if they give it to him, like, who can blame them? We arrived, we were paired up into Clark and Lois's. We were paired up into pairs of those pairs. You know, like a pair of shoes where it's one thing, but two. Anyway, and then we stepped out onto sort of a sitcom set, 3 walls and a living room, and we had some props and we had some things to play with. There are very few actors, I think, who really love a director on a mic in a different room. Say it like this now, you know, interrupting every 3 lines to say that. And that's how James directs. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. He loves to get involved like that. and I loved it. I just thought, I don't have to do any work in this situation. He's doing all the work. I just have to do what he says and like play with it and react to it. He had 3 cameras going, I think, and we would do take after take after take. He would give us notes. We did costume tests where we got to try on Henry Cavill's Superman suit, which is an amazing piece of costuming technological innovation. It's an incredible suit and beautifully made. In the same way that Henry got to put on Christopher Reeve's suit for his screen test, that's the moment when you're stepping into something iconic that you've seen up on the screen. In addition, I got to do an afternoon with the stunt team. They put me in blue spandex and strung me up by wires and did some flying and some fighting with me. I think both to give me a sense of, what it felt like and also to evaluate us on how well we could handle it and how prepared we were for that. It turned out that was going to be the biggest demands of the shoot. All of those elements making up the weekend, I left feeling, again, it's absolutely impossible that I'm going to get picked to do this. So I'm not going to hope that I get picked to do it. But I think these are my people. We get along. I think they get me. I think I get them.
Scarecrow's up! Scarecrow's up!
I had flown from Oklahoma to LA for the screen test for a weekend and then flown straight back, and I filmed on that Friday and that Monday on Twisters. And then I got a call from an unknown 310 number. So I walked in the other room, answered the phone, and I heard, "David, it's James Gunn." And I said, "Can you prove that?" He was like, I don't know. I'm calling you to offer you the role of Superman.
Hell yeah. We got it.
Hell yeah. All right.
He hit 3 or 4 important points to him. The first of which was really caring for the work and the time that people are putting in. Everybody from the heads of the departments to the PAs and the costumers, the dressers. James was sort of making clear to me, it's our job as the director and number 1 on the call sheet to sort of shine the glory on those people who don't usually get it. And then he said, "I know you're in good shape," which was nice of him to say. I was 195 pounds at the time, which is not very much for somebody who's 6'4". He said, "You're in good shape, but I want you to get a trainer. I want you to work on your shoulders and your vulnerability," which I thought was very funny. The final thing he told me was that Rachel was going to be cast as Lois Lane and that I had maybe a couple of hours to frantically tell all the people I wanted to tell personally before they were going to announce it because they didn't feel like they could keep it secret for very long. I desperately tried to tell my high school acting teacher, Phil Brown. He was the first teacher of mine who took me seriously enough to sort of call me on my high school bullshit of like, stop fucking around. We're not operating at the highest level here in our little Quaker high school, theater program. Don't let that be an excuse not to push yourself and not to work harder than everybody else if you're going to take this seriously. And he was the last person I got to tell for the first time that I was going to play Superman. And that was a good little celebration, that phone call. The funny thing is, in that moment of success where you get, really all the celebration is now I have work to go to.
Lois, have you got a minute?
My personal sort of internal preparation to play Superman was pretty simple, which was I just immediately latched on to this sense of he so loves getting to do what he does. And I think that shows up in every big screen iteration. There is just this love that Superman has of his ability to protect people and to save people and to be a symbol of hope. He doesn't carry it as a burden. At the same time, there's an isolation and a loneliness that comes with that because he is the only person in that position. There's no one else who is truly his equal in that respect.
Afraid.
And he's not one of these loner characters, one of these great superheroes who likes to be alone and wants to be different. Spider-Man's whole thing is like he's always been too normal his whole life. And when he becomes Spider-Man, that's his opportunity to be different and to stand out, to make something of himself. And for Superman, he just wants to be like everybody else. He desperately wants to be a part of humanity. He loves humanity. So what would it be like and what would the drama be for this character who's pretty much good? He's like, okay, he's cool. And he also is the most powerful superhero in the universe. What's the problem? Well, immediately I was like, well, the problem is you can't relate to anybody and nobody can relate to you. And sure, people are happy to see you and they're like, they're like, oh my God, it's fucking Superman. But you don't have heroes unless you have struggles, unless you have crises, unless you have calamities and tragedy. And so you sort of need an imperfect and fragile humanity to have heroes. But then those heroes, that hero in Superman, doesn't get to be a part of that other thing. He can come in and out of it, but he doesn't quite get to be a part of it. So that led me into reading All-Star Superman and Superman for All Seasons, which were the two comics that James pointed me to. I found immediately a one-to-one reference in a quote from Grant Morrison, who, along with Frank, quietly created All-Star Superman, which turned out to be one of the main references that James had pulled from, where he makes exactly the same point. Years before I did. All credit to him. I was aiming for about 4,500 calories a day. The gym was the first place I went to prepare, and there is a certain loneliness and isolation that comes at the gym. It's just you against the heavy weights. Yes, I had a wonderful trainer, Paolo, but in the moment when you're going for that 9th rep or you've put a little extra weight on the bar, nobody's going to do it for you. It's just you alone in your mind, seeing if you can go a little bit further than you thought you could go. And you have this great noble goal of like, you're prepping for Superman, but at the same time, I guess, you're the only one doing that. Juilliard prepared me surprisingly well, actually, when we were doing all of the stunt work, especially. I was astonished at how much I was drawing on the years of movement classes that we would do. We trained with Moni Akim, and his classes were sort of the most classic Juilliard experience of super high intensity, almost to the point of being impossible. And a lot of, just holding your leg out and pointing and point and a flex for hours and hours and hours. It feels like a lifetime. It became so directly transferable to the stunt work and the flying, where I was strung up by my underpants and had to hold my limbs and my torso in this steady, exact position, and then as much as possible sort of relax my face and look like it was effortless. All that training so I couldn't fit into my costume. They had built my costume based on my screen test measurements, where I was 6'4" and 195 pounds. And then I showed up 4 months later, 5 months later, still 6'4", but 240 pounds. So that first fitting was a bit of a squeeze. There were always situations where things would work great in the fitting, and then you would get on set, you'd be in a specific flight pose or a specific fighting stance, and you would realize that this great move that the stunt team or the fight choreographer had come up with, you just couldn't do. You just physically couldn't do. I can't move my arm in that way. If I move my arm in that way, it moves the rest of me in this way, so we can't do what you think we can do. I can't lift my head up and put my feet back in the... all these things. So it's important to know that building a superhero suit, it's not fucking easy. Months and months, and really, ideally, a year of research and development about fabrics, and they're printing stuff on the fabrics, they're dyeing the fabrics, the colors are so specific. All of this makes every iteration of the costume time-consuming, complicated, and then you have to fit it on a person. Huge credit to Judiana and to her whole team. I spent so many hours in fittings with them. Never once poked me with a safety pin. They, with limited time, especially because of the strikes leading up to shooting, our time prepping was limited, and they did an amazing job building this suit from scratch, making it so that I could fight and fly in it. I think the one thing we never figured out was how I could sleep in it. Only matters to me because I'm the one who wants to take a nap at lunchtime. It doesn't really matter for the movie that much. Aren't too many sleeping scenes in Superman movies. Didn't need a zipper to pee because my intrepid dresser, Scotty, and I got so good at getting in and out of the suit that we could do it in about 4.5 minutes. So the Superman Clark Kent hair was a big thing. The slicked back Superman look is mainly artificial and works because that's the only hairstyle that holds up under extreme wind, as they say in Hairspray, for hair that holds up even in a NASA wind tunnel. The curl is the one thing that actually is just sort of happens if you pull a piece of hair down, it curls up like that. And then the Clark Kent hair was just, once we got the Superman hair, what happened if you didn't do any of that? If you just let it dry naturally, my hair gets very curly and wavy and a little bit voluminous. Mannerisms-wise, I drew directly from All-Star Superman, which I think is parallel to what Christopher Reeve did extremely well, uncannily well, which was the posture, where Clark is obviously as big as Superman is, but he wears his clothes and he hunches in such a way as to make himself seem smaller. And Superman, obviously being a public-facing symbol of hope and safety and truth and justice in the American way, he stands chest out, proud, just as ready to defeat a superhuman foe as he is to be asked for direction. Superman wants to be seen and wants to take up space because he wants to draw all of the negative attention of the no good doers to himself so that he can take that on. But he also wants to draw the attention of people who are in need or who want reassurance, or kids who want to take a picture or get an autograph.
What do you want to build with this Superman?
What do I want to what?
Build with this Superman.
I want to build Legos with this Superman. I would like to have Legos. Please, Lego, make me a Lego. All of these toys are great. It's amazing. I'm an action figure, indomitable Nick Holt with his amazing purple suit and his interchangeable faces. That's his sort of neutral, everyday face. And then if you'll notice, this is a very different look. Nick has very different faces that he makes. This is his angry face. And then another extremely different look. This is his slightly less angry face. That's Nick Holt for you and his enormous range of facial expressions. Make us a Lego. Hey, listen, thanks for spending a few minutes listening to me talk. And if you talked back, I didn't catch it, please send it in the mail to the appropriate authorities. And I
Superman. Dee. Oh, look, I'm live. Ain't that crazy? Look, who's this guy?
neutral, everyday face. And then if you'll notice, this is a very different look. Nick has very different faces that he makes. This is his angry face. And then another extremely slightly less angry for you and his enormous range of facial expressions. Make us a Lego. Hey, listen, thanks for spending a few minutes listening to me talk. And if you talked back,
I just realized my fucking camera wasn't even working. Like, what do I have to do to get this shit to stop acting stupid?
I didn't catch it. Please Nick has very different faces that he makes. This is his angry face. And then another extremely slightly less angry for you and his
It's like
enormous range of facial
problems, man.
Hey, listen, thanks for spending a few minutes listening
I
to
didn't
me
even
talk.
notice it.
And if you talked back,
I just realized my fucking camera wasn't even working. Like, what do I have to do to get this shit to stop acting stupid?
I didn't catch it. Please Nick has very different faces that he makes. This is his angry face. And then another extremely slightly less angry for you and his
It's like
enormous range of facial
problems,
Hey,
man.
listen, thanks for spending a few minutes listening
I
to
didn't
me
even
talk.
notice it.
And if you talked back,
I just realized my fucking camera wasn't even working. Like, what do I have to do to get this shit to stop acting stupid? Hello?
I didn't catch it. Please Nick has very different faces that he makes. This is his angry face. And then another extremely slightly less angry
Hopefully this is better. Like, it's just fucking annoying, bro. Does my audio sound better? Someone let me know.
It's going to make things a bit more difficult within the family dynamic,
Right,
and I
but
don't
there's
think
also
you can
single
compare.
fathers, and all the statistics that we have when it comes to compare fathers and single mothers. It seems like the children fare way better when they're just with a single father than with
That
a
is
single
because
mother.
a single father never doesn't have help going into that. He has
that seems
he
like
has
a
neighbors, he has family, he
baseless
has other
assumption.
people.
That's
It's
a
not
crazy
baseless.
thing
I've
to
seen
say.
single
Oh, women-
fathers, and they always have somebody there willing to help out. But women are expected to child rear the entire brunt of it when
You're
they're a single
pulling
mother.
this completely out of your ass.
I'm not.
You're pulling the okay. So
Yeah, I like
men,
this
when they're
push-up,
single
though.
fathers, they have the community just surrounds them, and they just get all the support and all the benefits and all the privileges. And these poor single mothers, they're just
you
nobody
push that
wants to
ass.
help, and they just get laughed at. that and blah blah blah.
Certainly,
That's
some single mothers have familial
Push it out your
support,
ass.
but not all. And
I
it's
think
But why-
men get
okay,
praised
why
for
would-
taking
so
on
you're
that role of
saying-
a woman.
Yeah.
just with the single father than with
because the single father never
Let me go ahead and
doesn't have
fix my lighting.
go into that. He has neighbors, he has family, he has other people. It's not baseless. I've seen single fathers, and they always have somebody there willing to help out. But women are expected to child rear the entire brunt of it.
That's a crazy thing to say. That's a hell of a crazy thing to say. I ain't gonna lie.
Don't.
What's that?
Men get praised, like not praised, but like when there's single dads, like they're looked at like, wow, you're such a good guy or whatever. But women, it's like, oh, like what'd you do? Like you single mom, like just men are like
Because you're
looked
not a
at
good
as
mom.
like a like.
You ever
Do
thought
you
maybe
think
because she's not a
I mean,
fucking
I
good
guess,
mom?
is society better now than it was, I don't know, 50, 60, 70 years ago?
In a lot of ways, yes, I think so.
The social cohesion, social fabric, is it better now?
I mean, I can't comment on
Crime's
every
down.
aspect of society,
What's that?
but
Crime's down.
yeah, and like women have the ability to, you know, make their own money now, and
Is it?
Crime has been falling.
Well,
yeah,
There's a lot of factors related to crime. For example, if they put lead in the gasoline and they directly linked the removal of lead from gasoline to lowering crime rates.
Yeah, but we've all got plastic in us
I
at this
think
point.
crime's down because of like cameras and
I was
science
gonna
and the
say
way that
social
people
media
get
and
caught. I
stuff.
don't think it has anything to do with
Like, you could
women.
be doing
It
something
has
out in the
everything to do with
streets, yeah.
technology. It has nothing to do with women.
yeah, like you don't know who's
That's why
watching.
crime's
Is
down.
crime actually down though? I mean,
I don't even think
It
They're
is.
rioting in LA. I mean, seriously.
They're rioting
They're
in
making
LA.
it, the media makes it bigger than what it is, though.
No, it's crazy
Look,
nuts.
I guess just my confusion here is if it is the case,
Let me call my boyfriends real quick, because these niggas not picking up, and I need to see. Hold on, real quick for anything. I need to just... Ah, they got one. Who was that, your nephew? Okay. He was cutting my... I understand. Niggas working, okay. Nobody knows. The fuck?
that society functions better under a matriarchy, and matriarchy would imply not just like government rule, but also within the familial structure. At no point in history has there been more female influence than today when it comes to single motherhood. So women have the majority of influence in the household. They make up the majority of teachers all the way from kindergarten to 12th grade. There's a predominance of women in education and as single mothers. So how could it possibly be you have boys and daughters who the majority of their life, the authority figures in their life are women, the moms and all the teachers. It's not clear to me if society has improved.
You don't think society's improved?
Well, it depends by what metric. I think there's way more, quite a bit of polarity.
With what? Politically?
Yeah, sure. Politics, just social cohesion.
It's just that people can voice their opinions now more than they could back in the 50s. In the 50s, your opinion, only the people around you had to put up with that shit. Now everybody has to listen to whatever's on Twitter or Instagram, or anybody that has a camera phone can make themselves
right,
heard.
and that has degraded social cohesion.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think that's women.
I think
I don't know why.
speaking as a person of color,
Oh, boy.
society has definitely gotten better.
It got him
As a
better.
person of
Like,
color?
I'm joking. Look at the
Society has
females. Every
It's
female
always
is
gotta
a
be that one
fucking
nigga.
prostitute.
Person of
I
color?
swear.
wouldn't say
Half of
every.
the
Let's
girls
chill
here.
now, man.
Okay,
Let's
but like it's
chill.
true. Every
Shut your
female in this
ass.
generation, they're literally using men in some way, and every female, as soon as they turn 18, they turn into something. OnlyFans, showing pictures, and it's just like, how is that good? We all are like,
less than
literally.
That's where I don't agree with you.
It's because women.
Yeah,
like,
that's why I
need
don't
men, and it's
agree
just, like,
with
the way
you.
society is going, we all are so against each other, and like women are lost. And then here we are, like talking about like if a woman should rule anymore. Like we're literally like full of weak people in this society. No one wants to see reality. We're sitting here arguing if a fat, ugly person is better looking than a skinny, good-looking person. Are we fucking for real? When
Are you fucking for real? I don't know, bitch. Are you? Are you? Let's see what's on Twitter today. I need a movie where the villain actually won. Megamon, are you dumb? Endgame. Technically, Thanos does win twice. Killing Thanos didn't really. They shooting! They shooting! God damn! Oh my god!
Nigga, I volley that shit first. Yeah? The fuck? Look at this whole crib. You right. This your shit right here? Yeah, nigga. Fuck. You came with man, you don't even know.
I don't know. I ain't gonna lie. Man, what is this? What the fuck is these niggas? These niggas are hilarious, bro. Come here. You got that grown man strength. I ain't gonna lie. We good, Debo. We good, Debo.
We good? You good?
You're not gonna get up. You're not getting up. You're not getting up. Look at his shoes. He got them boots on. You're not winning. I'm sorry. He got too much grip. You played a villain in Rick and Morty. I gotta watch Rick and Morty now. But why do I got nothing popping up for love being your daddy? Someone said, "Alright." Alright. What a better evolution? I'm not gonna lie, Clementine. Not even close. Clementine, not even close. Clementine, not even close. Cause Ellie was already kind of on that timing as a child. She already had to live like that. She grew up in that shit. Clementine was a child before shit happened. She was good and shit all through the first season. She ain't had to really start catching bodies till like season 2 for real. Like she really had to start. And then when she got older, she really started catching bodies by like season 3 and shit. Like you watched her turn into a little goody two shoes to a straight mass murderer. Like she's like that. Dark skin, light skin. The one that's financially stable is crazy, I guess. The way he looking at that video always kills me. Like, bro, you're not even that guy. What's trending? How do you even use Instagram? I mean, TikTok. I mean, X. Like, how do I find all the hot shit going on right now? I should not have. Okay, I should not have cuff him showing up on my fucking feed. I really shouldn't. I'm tired of seeing this nigga. Lean mukbang. The fuck. Oh yeah, we do got Wonder Man coming out next. Hopefully it's at least a 7. Niggas be fake dick. This is a good one. But it is. The fuck? You might looking at that gorgeous woman. Nah, facts. What the fuck? Ugh. We wish a nigga would. The fuck you do to that fucking? That shit made me yawn. What the fuck was you doing to that bread? Try to do it back for something else, chat. I ain't gonna lie, buddy. That nigga's hilarious.
Shit.
Okay.
Let's go.
Okay.
When you put women in power, that means you're putting someone that is naturally not powerful, and that means that opened the delusion to society. And now it's delusion. The world is delusion.
It is delusion.
Because of woman. Because when you put
Because a
someone that is
woman.
not in power, which is a female, it's never been in power. It's never going to be in power. You're not stronger than a man. I go to the gym every fucking day. I'm not as strong as a 14-year-old man. Why? Because men are more stronger. And now we're in a fucking world full of
Oh, you got. Oh, she. I just realized she got some actual big ass arms. Never mind. She knows what she's talking about.
You're fatter, and that's why, you know why we're like this? It's division.
This
Weaker,
yapping.
and the weaker we are, the more we're gonna work.
Okay,
Right.
goddamn.
Capitalist people who are up at the top, the billionaires of the world, are going to try and pit everybody against each other of any kind of difference. The poor and the rich, the black and the white, the women and the men. Yeah, they're going to try and it's divide and conquer.
And we're
of
letting
course.
it. We're letting that division happen. And we're
Why
sitting
is
here
black people
saying,
always
"I
being
would
brought up in
rather have a
conversation?"
man than a, like that. have
Why
a
do we
bear
always talk
attack."
about when we talk about minorities? Why do we always talk about black people? Why do we gotta be the first people to come to mind when we think of minorities or people of color? Why can't you ever say Asian motherfuckers? Y'all in California, niggas. Bring up the Mexicans. Like, why are you doing this to us? No one ever says, yeah, what about the brown people? What about the yellows? Huh? Why is it always black?
Attacking. A bear would just.
I'm just saying, like, this shit's annoying. Why we always gotta be topic of discussion? Stop.
Destroy you in a fucking second.
I hope it does, then I wouldn't have to listen to this shit anymore.
Man is
Holy
around
shit.
you every single day. You're not gonna die. If you're next to 10 men and 10 fucking bears, just know you're gonna die. Like, it's delusion.
Just know you're gonna die.
We let
Chair
women
one is based,
think they're
other
in
women don't
power.
like what
We
they are
made
hearing.
us think
LOL.
that, like, everything is a delusion because we started from thinking women have power the same as men, and now everything's a fucking delusion. Everything is
Okay,
7
bitch.
hours. Fuck.
Why she still yapping? God
I
damn.
feel just like them. Then I realized, oh, I see
Base
now what
steroid
the
girl.
fuck's
Oh, she's a
going on.
steroid girl?
They're doing this to us to think we want. do that.
I ain't
But
gonna
then
lie, this
we believe that that's
wrong.
not what we want. People,
I want to love women.
I'm literally a fucking atheist. I didn't want to have kids. I have birth control, and I took 2 years off to like just focus on what the fuck is going on in the world.
She doesn't speak for all of us.
I studied philosophy. I studied quantum physics. I studied everything, and then I
Studied with what? You didn't finish college. What do you mean you studied quantum physics?
I studied it by myself.
You
studied
quantum physics?
It doesn't
All
matter.
right.
Personal info.
I ain't gonna lie. I don't think when people, and she's smiling too as if she said something. You do realize college don't mean shit in this 2025 era, right? You're a dumbass and you must be, I know you go to college. You a dumbass. Yes, you can learn quantum physics on YouTube. Who said that you can't learn anything on YouTube? No, back then niggas just dead ass just read books. Not go to college and just learn shit. We can read all those books and shit on, you can get audio books, you can go on YouTube, you can learn a lot of shit off YouTube. Yes. What the fuck? Just thanks for proving to the world that you're an idiot, that you need someone to teach you something. You can't go out yourself and learn it yourself. You're an idiot. That's literally the definition of an idiot. You need someone to teach you something and force feed you information. You can't get mad at her because she knows how to get up and do the shit, to do the work herself and learn herself. You hating bitch.
I want to point
Chill
out
on the personal
one sec.
insults.
I want to point out one thing here. You said women are more cooperative.
I ain't gonna lie, she's sexy. She got sexy with the big ass arms.
Yeah, we're
I'll still
not.
manhandle
We
your
all
big
hate
ass.
each other. If you put
Except for the one on steroids.
I work in a strip
think we
club,
should chill
and
on
every female,
personal
most of the
insults.
times, they just hate each other. That's what it is.
It hasn't been this heated all night. You've been talking with me. You got a female.
Yeah,
here.
that's what happens when you're a woman in power.
You wanted to say something to her earlier, though?
She said she doesn't like people who agree with her, so I'm trying my best over here, Brian.
What did you want to say?
I don't want these people to agree with me.
We're past
Something
the
Like
time.
the original one or what?
The moment she said, "Ah, you trying to fight then?"
Yeah, the original thing I was gonna say is like I don't believe that every girl like once they turn 18 become prostitutes or
It's
like
very common, and it's going that way because women don't really,
0.2%.
they don't have that natural
just not
instincts to
true.
survive, and that's why we always go.
I think we should all
Yeah, that's what it should be. That's
stop
I don't
with
think.
the
I honestly
personal
don't think it should.
Who the fuck said you keep
going
talking?
against views and opinions,
You know,
but
hey,
let's
this
not personally attack each other now.
Women are so cooperative.
I know
Let's
we are.
not
The
personally
most
attack
heated
each other
moment
now.
of the whole
I
show.
think natural
it's women on
instincts-
women violence.
I
okay?
think nature is something that the rules of nature will always follow us, and the more we go against it, the more we go against nature rules. This is the shit
Who let
we can
that
get
fat bitch
delusional
back on the
fucking
show?
humans going against their nature,
Exactly.
thinking that they can just
Exactly.
turn
Man's a
what
man,
they are.
woman's a
Something
woman,
that's
and
not pretty
all
is
the other
pretty.
ones are psychos
That's
and
what
should be in
happens
the
when you
funny
don't follow
farm.
the nature rules.
The funny farm should be in a funny farm.
This is the definition of not following nature rules.
Do you think that if I asked really nicely, the hospital would lobotomize me? Do you think that they would do that?
What do you mean?
I'm kidding.
Is it bedtime?
I don't
It's
know.
past bedtime.
I just feel like that's
It's like
there's no point. You keep going back and
Exactly.
forth with a woman without telling her what's the truth. Why can't you just tell
I'm
her?
trying to tell her the truth.
You should.
She get on your ass now, boy. Transphobic.
Hello everyone and welcome to Snap Take. This is Glazer of Snap Judgments and this video is later than usual. Usually we
I ain't
release
gonna lie,
at
these
8
new
a.m.
scissors
Eastern
and
every single
forecast
day,
be crazy,
but we
bro.
have to wait for Second Dinner to release their new season video in order to go over every single card to make sure we have all the best and most up-to-date information for you. So that's what we've got today. This is the Fantastic Four First Steps season, the new Marvel movie coming out in about a week. So we've got the season for it kicking off right away with the season pass card. We've got Pedro Pascal in Marvel Snap with Mr. Fantastic First Steps. He is a 2/2. End turn, give a card in your hand, -1 cost or -2 power. You should immediately see this card and be thinking of two different cards. Surge, who gives the top card of your deck -1 and +1, and Fastos, who gives the top card of your deck either -1 or +2. He's sort of a mishmash between those two cards. It seems like because he's passive, because he's going to hit a different card hopefully every turn, he could be really a lot of power. He can be a lot of negative. As if he works like Fastos and Surge, when he hits skills, he's going to have multiple negatives. There's a lot to like about this card, and you can get him for free as long as you subscribe to this channel and then like and comment on this video. We're giving away 5 copies of Mr. Fantastic First Steps this week. Again, all you have to do is sub, like, and then leave a comment, and you're entered to win him. Every video this week is your chance to win. All right, let's talk about Mr. Fantastic, First Steps, Synergies. So I'm not sure what decks really don't want this, at least like tentatively, right? If you're running 2-drops, he's a 2. A lot of it's going to come down to, however, if he's better than Surge overall. He does give 1 more power, but his ore versus Surge is hitting both means that Surge is still likely a better card. If Mr. Fantastic were a 2-3, which he was data mined as, which if he doesn't perform, I fully expect him to end up being again, if that becomes the case, I think Mr. Fantastic First Steps ends up a better card. The answer, however, is probably we just end up running both, and depending on what's in hand, it will determine which of the 2 cards we play.
That's what I'm saying.
Galactic, Gwenpool,
I'll come back to that video. I'll come back to that shit. But yeah, that's what I was already thinking of. Just have both of them in my hand. Surge, Miss Fantastic. Can't go wrong. The chance of getting a goddamn ramp out. My nigga, what the fuck is going on here? Smiling this shit. I'm going to that one video. My fucking back hurt, bro. It's so hard to stream when your back is constantly hurting, dude. This shit actually hurts.
You should support. You're supposed to educate this woman instead of just hearing him out. What the fuck? Who's that? Who's that helping? Who's that helping? Who did that help? I was literally gonna ask.
Damn, she on your ass now, boy?
You in the end, what is this getting you listening to a woman just tell you you're wrong for 3 hours? That's not primal of you. That wasn't manly of you. That was not manly of you.
That was not
manly. Be more primal. I only watched like a couple hours.
Primal is crazy, bitch. Get off them steroids. The fuck you mean Primal? I ain't gonna lie, dude. Get her out of here. She was right. Brian talks, but never actually gets to a point. Not for real though. This is why I heard a lot about this man. I've seen a lot of his videos too. This nigga actually does not know how to debate or anything. Like it's like he's a host of a show, but he's not the best part about the show at all. It seems like people don't want him to speak on his own platform because you say nothing but bullshit on your own platform. All your guests come on and do more work than you. That's crazy. And she calling that shit out.
Episodes. I thought
like if the nigga Andrew or somebody not on the show, nobody wants to watch it because they know you're not gonna do anything. Like you never make a good debate ever. You actually argue like the women on the pod.
I thought you guys were red pill. That this whole conversation was not red pill. This was you being very understanding through.
Look at his face. That nigga kills me.
I don't think you should have been understanding. I think this was not manly of you. I thought you were more manly. I watched one episode.
over here.
You're getting
Trans the kids. I don't want to trans the kids.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't. I said at one point. I don't want to trans the kids.
She wants to trans
Brian,
the kids.
I don't want to trans the kids.
I thought something happened, but nothing happened. He just got that nigga ass. Whatever, bro.
Oh, yeah, okay, let me see if I can show this right here. So concurrent Steam users over the last 8 years. And you can see right here, this clearly, yeah, this is a great graph. After the 9 years, so this is COVID-19, right? And you can see that Steam is even going up after that. So Netflix as well. Yeah, you can look at Netflix as well also. So, but maintaining that growth is no longer growth. Yeah, exactly, right?
That there's no set of information that implies that, and yet, geez. And the younger generation is literally getting priced games that casual audiences might actually want, like Perfect Dark. They're not getting made, and Halo is not out of the woods. Who even knows what's going on with 343 right now?
Well, the fact that 343 aren't in the unemployment line right now is an insult to Halo players. It's a complete insult. Like, they've failed 3 games so far. 3 games they've released with
4
the
or
largest
5
IP
Infinite,
in
terrible.
Xbox history, and they
4
failed.
wasn't
Like,
that
why
bad.
are they not at
No,
McDonald's?
not for Halo 5.
They
I
should
actually didn't
be at
mind Halo 5. I had a lot of
McDonald's.
fun at Halo 5.
For
It wasn't
Perfect
that
Dark.
good.
I think that if they remade Perfect Dark, Jet Force Gemini, Conker's Bad Fur Day, or like one of these like older video games, like what was it, the Odd Odyssey or whatever, like any of those, if they remade those, people would.
You know what I've been wanting fucking Microsoft to do since like 2019. They should have bought fuck Activision Blizzard. They should have been bought Warner Bros. Games or NetherRealm Studios, all that shit. So we could have had the full rights to Mortal Kombat and a lot of the DC characters. They could have brought back the Arkham series, made that shit exclusive for Xbox. We would have been up. Sony would have had DC. I mean, Marvel with Spider-Man and shit. We would have had DC with Batman. Instead of making a stupid-ass Suicide Squad game, Xbox could have took over, made a Superman game or some shit, and we would have been up. But no, like right now, we could be making a Superman game that comes out on Xbox with the Superman movie. But niggas don't want to think like that. You want to get fucking Activision Blizzard and all these other studios. Like, bro, it's shit out here. You like Xbox can really be Halo. Yeah, that shit is crazy, bro. The shit they doing Halo now is crazy. How they do it, like it's actually demonic if you think about it. This shit's demonic because Halo is a religious game, and now they doing all this pride shit. And they got the head of Halo Studios is a black fat bitch who never even developed the game in her life, but is an activist. That shit is literally demonic, bro. Get them the fuck out of there.
Would lose their fucking minds. They would be so happy. Yeah, Lost Odyssey, exactly. Oddworld, yeah, there you go, Oddworld. And it's not about that. It's not about the IP. It's about the quality of the games.
Now, I know this is a real downer, but it's pretty hard not to be frustrated with this news. If there's something I can say to counteract the negativity, it's that Xbox isn't dead. All the news that's been dropped the last few days is
It's
bad.
very obvious that Xbox has completely recalibrated their business model.
But
It's
that
obvious.
doesn't mean it's over. It means there's some major reshuffling going on. They do still have more than 40 games in development. There's at least one more Xbox.
Yeah, let's see.
Maybe this
game's
is better
gonna do
like this,
well,
right?
This one will do well. This one will do well. This one will do well.
I ain't gonna
this
lie.
One might do well.
That's
This one,
probably better.
I don't know. It's just a reload. This one will do well. Residence, I heard this game was pretty good. High on Life, I don't know about this. Clockwork Revolution.
Nigga, I ain't gonna lie. High on Life 2 is gonna be a banger. Tony Hawk's Pro Skated 3, 4. All right. I'm gonna play it, but they don't got story modes and shit. Like, nigga, we're not playing these games for just the challenges, nigga. They need to make a story mode or at least full online with this game. I'm not really worried about Pro Skater until I want to see projects. Proving, and I don't know if it's PG. Is it Proving Grounds? The one when niggas was in Philadelphia. That's what I'm waiting for. Hopefully they remake that shit. Invincible game. It's not gonna be. I don't think that the game's gonna be a hit. It's really just fucking Killer Instinct. So I can see it getting a lot of players first week or so, but falling down to probably like the 60K current player range within a week or two. Because most niggas don't play fighting games like that anyway. Because most niggas suck at fighting games. Outer Worlds 2, need to play the first one. I heard it was good. BO7, we already know what that's gonna do. Might not be. Hopefully, it's better than the last game, but I don't care about Black Ops. I'm waiting for Sledgehammer to get their 2 years in because I'm pretty sure they're gonna do Advanced Warfare 1 and 2. Hopefully, 2 and 3. I want to see AW come back. Boots on Ground is cool and everything. AW had the best fucking EXO movement, so I want to see that shit come back because they did it right when they tried. And yeah.
In like this trailer was ridiculous. This one's probably gonna suck. Let's see here. Persona 4 will probably do well. Let's see here. Fallout 76. I don't know. Sea of Thieves continually does well.
Final Fantasy.
And that's
so
about it.
Leveling
The other one's
Arise.
probably not so much. Maybe Super Meat Boy will be kind of popular, but I don't really think so.
Did you just skip past Solo Leveling, my nigga?
Console in the future,
Grounded
probably.
2 might do
At
the
least that's
best.
what we're hearing.
Solo Leveling game's
Game
alright.
Pass
I
is
played it
gonna be
already on
35 million subscribers is a lot. It's maybe not the license to print money Xbox and Microsoft hoped it was, but 35 million subscribers is a success. Because that's, if I'm not mistaken, the current game subscription service that is successful. Like, if there's a Netflix equivalent, it's Game Pass. So the news isn't all bad. It's important to keep in mind that even with all these internal issues at Microsoft, they're de facto still the #1 games publisher in the world. That is because they own both Bethesda and Activision, but still Xbox isn't going anywhere. And yeah, it's easy to lay the blame on Phil Spencer, and certainly he does deserve plenty. Sarah Bond.
He's responsible, and she's responsible too. I don't think it's exclusively their fault, But I think them spreading themselves too thin and working on all of these extra projects while not maintaining and curating the prime Xbox
Testing.
Service that is successful. Like, yeah, if there's a Netflix equivalent, it's Game Pass. So it is. It's important to keep in mind that even with all these internal issues at Microsoft, they're de facto still the #1 games publisher in the world. That is because they own both Bethesda and Activision, but still Xbox is a component there. And yeah, it's easy to lay the blame on Phil Spencer, and certainly does deserve plenty. Sarah Bond, he's responsible, and she's responsible too. I don't think it's exclusively their fault, but I think them spreading themselves too thin and working on all of these extra projects while not maintaining and curating the prime testing.
Xbox IPs, Fable, Halo, and Gears. Huge mistake.
The president of Xbox and Max Booty, the president of Game Content Studios, they deserve some blame here as well. But I do want to say this. At the end of the day, they are also just cogs in the Microsoft machine. Phil still has to answer to Satya Nadella, the CEO and chairman of Microsoft.
yeah.
And you better believe that it was probably him and not Phil that was pushing for the reduction in staff. Phil's just...
And he's right to do that. He's right. And it will be shown that he's right in the coming years. A lot of these studios will be making the same decisions. These guys aren't stupid. He's not stupid. Like, they know exactly what they're doing.
Caping for it. Unfortunately, though, at the end of the day, Xbox is a small portion of Microsoft's frankly massive empire. The successes and failures of that division are just a drop in the bucket.
Are they greedy? Like niggas, it's like niggas will be thinking, if anyone's greedy, it's Sony. Sony holds on to their exclusives. They don't want nobody to play any of the games unless you buy that console. That's called being greedy. You want to play Spider-Man, you gotta buy a PlayStation. Over here on this side, no, we're giving our games away. We finna put Gears on PS4 if it's not on there already. I mean PS5 if it's not on there already. That's not being greedy. That's allowing other niggas to eat. Cause at the end of the day, bro, gaming at this point is not what it used to be, bro. Being online and shit has come so far, nigga. It should not matter what console you play on. Everybody should be able to play together. But you got companies like Sony that don't want that. Fucking no. It just feels more lively on this side of the field. Like the grass is dead ass greener on this side. No pun in it.
Compared to the revenue that the other divisions bring in, which is an important and humbling reminder of just how seriously the company takes the division, which appears to be not that much. In the past few years,
it's an added media brand
That's
that
cool.
sells
I didn't realize,
other products and keeps people in entertainment inside of the Microsoft ecosystem, but it's not its own product by itself. And I think that if Xbox had to exist without the funding and
No stream data. I don't like that shit. Why my screen keep going back there? I don't like that.
subsidy from Microsoft, it would probably go out of business. But Xbox can provide a value that's disproportionate to the value that it provides to itself, to Microsoft as a whole, that creates its value in the aggregate. And that's one of the things that a lot of people don't understand with why, for example, Amazon doesn't sell Twitch and why Microsoft doesn't sell Xbox. It's because these things they're existing inside of a larger ecosystem that feeds into each other. Xbox Cloud Gaming also runs on Microsoft servers. Yeah, and Microsoft Azure is, I think, 30% of Microsoft's market share, or Microsoft's value and income. It's around, I think it's 25 to 35%.
Wow, what the fuck?
under Nadella, it's felt like the sword of Damocles
40?
was just hanging over Xbox, waiting to fall. We have no idea what's going on behind the scenes. It's all pure speculation, but it literally just could be that rather than a string of bad decisions. I don't know that I would say it's that, but Phil...
I think that they have made a string of bad decisions also. They've released a number of really bad games. That's true. I think that they're making really good structural decisions, but their creative decisions are horrible.
Could have been trying to stave the inevitable off for the past few years, just trying to keep the gaming division alive when the vultures at Microsoft's other divisions are circling. I want to note that this is possible and probably some of the explanation at bare minimum. But it's also not to say that the Xbox team hasn't made serious blunders. The way they've handled their internal studios like 343 The Coalition and the now closed The Initiative has been a disgrace. Xbox was handed some of the greatest IPs ever, like Halo, Gears of War, and yes, Perfect Dark. There was major potential there, and they squandered it with poor management.
Perfect Dark did not have major potential. It didn't have the same type of name recognition. It was a game that was popular on, like, what, Nintendo 64 or GameCube or something? Like, the game, again, like, it's good that you're making a new version of this, but you're effectively making a new game. Does this really make you want to spend $70?
Microsoft's hands-off approach to game development in the past, and it's led to some amazing stuff, especially from Obsidian, who are proving to be the MVPs of the entire division lately.
Why would you say that? Avowed was a horrible Avowed was a horrible game. It got blown the fuck out by Oblivion that came out 17 years prior. And also, if it wasn't so bad, then why did they lose staff and the person that led the company for Avowed, why did the person leave? It was a massive failure. Like, by all metrics and all ways that you can look at it, it was a tremendous and colossal failure.
Seriously, you know who I haven't had to mention up till this point in the video? Obsidian. That is of note, to say the least. But in the case of other studios management,
the thing
like
about the
Halo
game
and
about it wasn't that
Gears
bad, though. I don't-
specifically, maybe a little more hands-on would
slight.
have been helpful if they had. Maybe
True,
the
that's a
initiative
great
wouldn't
point.
floundered for nearly 10 years with basically nothing to show for it with Perfect Dark. Like, I'm sorry.
And this gameplay is garbage. Hunters shouldn't be moving around like this. They should be big lumbering giants, not outrunning Master Chief. This is ridiculous. This is awful. It totally, like, I'm sorry, but, like, I played Halo 1, played Halo 2, Halo 3. This is not the way it should work.
It's not the way it should work.
Floundered for nearly 10 years with basically nothing to show for it with Perfect Dark. Like,
Garbage.
I'm sorry, but it's not that hard to make a Perfect Dark game. You could literally just reboot it and do the first game's plot with some changes, and I think everybody would be pretty psyched as long as it turned out well. Like, it doesn't even really have to be original as long as it does what it's supposed to do and adds enough that it's not just the same game again. Like, the initiative was formed in 2016. They've had basically nothing but some vertical slices, according to reports. Compare Microsoft's handling of their studios to someone like Nintendo, who's very hands-on. Some developers buckle under the pressure. Yeah, I've seen reports.
Nintendo has also even said that recently, this was a statement they made in the past couple of days, is that they're even rethinking the way that they develop video games, and they're going to be changing the way that they're developing to go towards shorter development cycles in order to save money, in order to meet customer demands. Because the pricing, I think really probably the pricing of Mario Kart was a wake-up call for them. We need Prime 4 now? Yeah, for sure. Samus looks stupid. I can see why people say that, but yeah, it's a little bit out of proportion. That just means more slop? No, it doesn't. Well, I mean, like, that's not true at all.
Metro Studios really struggled with Nintendo working on Metroid Prime, but at the end of the day, it's an all-time great game. With Xbox, it's 10 years of nothing followed by cancellation. And that's always been a problem with Xbox to a certain degree, but this slow, gradual transition from major hardware competitors to third-party
It's not like 10
software
years.
developer,
Yeah, we ain't been having nothing crazy.
whatever.
Like,
It's
that's the
sad
crazy
to
thing
see.
about Xbox, bro. Like, we really haven't had anything to our name in 10 years plus, my nigga. When you think of Xbox, we have not dropped anything that niggas actually cared about. We just made moves like doing it, Game Pass and shit. But as far as games, no, and it's fucking sad because it's like it's not hard to make a good game. How is it every time y'all allow one of the studios to make a game, they make bullshit? Like Fuck, me personally, I'm firing more than 9,000 motherfuckers, bro. Everybody finna get fired. Cause how the fuck can nobody make a good game? Redfall, trash. Halo, trash. And they make all these stupid ass indie games like that Midnight shit. Like it looked like it's decent, but like nigga, it's nothing that it's not gonna be talked about. It's already not talked about. The week it came out, it was talked about for a few days, and no one cared about it no more.
Maybe in Microsoft's eyes, this is a more profitable direction to take things, but as a gamer, it feels like the mighty have fallen. It feels like the.
I totally disagree. I disagree a lot with this video. I think this video brings up good points, but I don't agree with his evaluation of a lot of these. I agree with his assessment, but I don't agree with his conclusions.
Yeah.
I think the reality is that why would Xbox continue to make consoles in a market that they're already cannibalizing their own sales in?
Right.
Xbox is in a very unique circumstance that when an Xbox player buys a console and they choose not to play a game on PC, they're effectively cannibalizing a sale. Because now this is somebody that you've already sold them Windows. You've already decided that. Now you're selling them the same thing again, and it's being sold at a loss. It's just not a commercially good decision in any way.
Right.
They're a giant corporation now. They only care about profits. What do you think? The smaller companies don't? They all care about profits.
Yeah, I don't know. People be saying dumb shit in the chat, bro. These niggas don't be things really tight. I wonder what these niggas look like.
Not necessarily Xbox, but this is a huge pillar of the gaming industry that is crumbling. I told you, I am not a console wars person. Seeing this happen to a big company that was this successful, which technically has a much bigger company behind it, that up until this point has just been willing to fund it to no end. I mean, if you don't see something in those tea leaves, I don't know if you're looking. That doesn't look good. Like, I will say it could be an economic response to the post-COVID dip, and it may eventually even out. Maybe all this doom and gloom around Xbox is unwarranted.
It is.
Maybe they had to make these moves, and this is stuff that will end up working out in the future. I don't know. But as an old-time game...
Sony's going to do the same thing, by the way. Sony's going to do the same thing that Xbox is doing now with shutting down studios, probably.
Oh, yeah.
Nintendo, you're probably not going to hear about it because, like, the way that Nintendo does press and everything is very different. But Sony, you'll probably see the same thing happen.
Maybe. Someone
Sony
who's
is
watched this
fully
happen to
somebody
Sega and now is watching it again with Xbox, but now in a completely different economic climate. Seeing how things have been going the last few years just really sucks. I don't really care about Microsoft's bottom line. I care about
Hey, look
video
at Halo
games,
2, nigga.
in
Look
the
how
case of
tough
this
Halo 2 looks,
situation.
man.
I care about Xbox games and positive feelings I've had about the original console and all the amazing games back on the 360. But more and more, the Division feels less like that Xbox and more just Bethesda and Activision because they're really doing the lion's share of the game publishing now. Almost all the old stalwarts at Xbox, the games that put the console on the map, they're seemingly dying. I hope that's not the case. I hope Halo comes back bigger and better than ever. But right now, that possibility feels...
Why would Halo come back and be better if they're being made by the same company that's made 3 bad Halo games?
Right. They already fucked up.
I also think that Microsoft does a very bad job managing their own IPs. Like, whenever I heard that there was going to be a secret level crossover episode with the Doomslayer and Master Chief, and for some reason they didn't do that,